In this video, we will talk about the elements of a classical kitchen, but in this case the classic style will be reviewed as the renewed classical style or the Renaissance. First of all, let's take a look at the Renaissance-inspired design elements that we can use in our kitchens. Cabinetry and millwork. Classical straight lines are common, as are elaborate classical moldings, often with foliage, medium and dark toned or stained wood such as walnut, possibly distressed cabinetry, moldings, and millwork are usually used. Hardware and fixtures. Ironwork is used mainly both for hardware and fixtures. Both brushed and shiny metals, brass and pewter, with classical shapes are usually used. Countertops. Marble, limestone, slate, dark stained wood, laminates, solid surfacing, engineered stone that simulates the natural materials, ceramic tile, and decorative mosaics are usually used. Floors. Natural stones, like those used on countertops along with ceramic tile or dark stained wood planks, are usually used. Walls. Rough plaster, adobe, or ceramic tile is used for walls. Ceilings and lighting. Plaster or adobe and heavy dark wooden beams are used for the ceilings. Metal, especially wrought iron, is used for Spanish and Italian Renaissance-inspired lighting fixtures. For French and English Renaissance lighting, brass or pewter are common. Central fixtures of chandeliers hanging from the ceiling with multiple bulbs, reminiscent of original fixtures that held multiple candles, are usually used. Colors. Dark wood tones of white and white, rich versions of red, green, blue, and yellow are popular. Representative motifs. Classical motifs and curves elaborately interpreted are used, as are the foliage, cherubs, other human figures, some animals, and a variety of geometric patterns. Fabrics. Tapestry weavings, tooled leather, velvet, and damascene fibers, cotton, linen, wool, and silk are common. Accents and accessories. Tapestries, pewter and silver hollowware, wrought iron, brushed metals, Renaissance-inspired mosaics and tile, paintings, pottery, and ceramics are all used. Renaissance, it's the style that gave birth to Baroque, country styles, and Victorian Renaissance. We will talk about those styles in the next lessons. But for now, let's see how the Renaissance started to develop. The 15th century rediscovery or rebirth of ancient classicism was associated with the rise of the cultural sophistication and patronage of the arts, beginning in Florence, Italy. Architecturally, it is associated with the use and renewed interpretation of the classical orders and motifs in a more elaborate way. This influence spread to the rest of Europe, each region with its own individual design interpretation, primarily in what is now modern-day France, Spain, and England during the 16th and 17th centuries. From there, it eventually spread to the rest of the world, including North America in the 17th century. By the beginning of the 18th century, Renaissance styles were replaced by Rococo and later by the neoclassical styles. Rulers and other nobility who lured the skilled Italian craftsmen to their own countries aided the spread of Renaissance design influence. The French Renaissance was probably the closest interpretation to the Italian. Given the close proximity, it is often difficult to differentiate the French Renaissance from Italian. In many areas of France, Gothic motifs appear along with those of the Renaissance, often on the same piece of furniture. Spain closely followed the Italian Renaissance designs, but also incorporated some of the Islamic and more geometric motifs brought by the Moors. Wrought iron and other metals were used more frequently in Spain, given the lack of abundant forests and wood supply. In England, the Renaissance was called the Tudor or Elizabeth style. It infused some of the Gothic motifs along with the classical ones from Italy, using the emphasizing carved oak. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, there was a renewed interest in the United States in Renaissance villas and palaces from all over Europe. These various Renaissance design elements were incorporated in the interiors as well, including the kitchen. And during the 1960s and 1970s, much of the influence of the Renaissance was renamed as Mediterranean, a combination of Italian and Spanish Renaissance motifs and materials in contemporary homes. We will talk about the styles that derived from Renaissance in the next lessons.